You believe the Celtics can come out strong, and you like them as 5.5-point favorites here?
Yeah, biggest spread in the series so far. And I think that it's a combination of a few things. Obviously, game one was the only time the Celtics have played at home with their full starting lineup, and that was 4.5, 5. Conveniently enough, they haven't won a game in the series with their full starting lineup, or in the playoffs, since Rob Williams wasn't even starting against the Nets. So their starting lineup is 0-2. Everything else is 6-0. I think the number is set for Rob Williams to return and play. He just needed a little bit extra rest. And I think that home court maybe becomes a little more valuable here to get this later in the series to bump this number up a bit. It's a lot, but I think that if the Celtics do come through, we've gotten some grinders recently. I think that they might do it with a little bit of margin. So if you read my best bets article yesterday, we put the Suns and Celtics together on a money line parlay. Obviously it's much more comfortable in these type of games when you need a team just to win. But yeah, if you're telling me I got to bet the spread, I'm laying it with the Celtics, and then I'm laying it with the Bucks, and then who knows what happens Sunday in Game 7.
All right, Whalen, you had Al Horford playing the Robin, the Jason Tatum's Batman here. The series is tied at 2.
Al Horford was Batman.
You think so? I mean,
absolutely.
But you don't think Tatum became Batman in the fourth quarter when he actually woke up a little bit?
You mean when Al Horford had 16 fourth quarter points?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Whalen, what do you expect?
I'm with Julian here. I think we're going to see kind of a back and forth series as it's been so far. It feels like the momentum has now shifted really heavily in favor of Boston. I think Milwaukee, after Giannis went on that individual run in the third quarter, that was capped off by that technical, kind of glaring at Al Horford after a dunk. I think Milwaukee thought they had this game won. I feel like in their mind, they were up 25 and they were actually only up like 9. And all of a sudden it's an 8-0 run for Boston and everything completely flips. I mean, 43 points in the fourth quarter for the Boston Celtics. You go a 5 of 22 performance from Drew Holiday from the field, his 8th time in 32 playoff games with the Bucks that he shot under 30% from the field. It's become an alarming trend for the Bucks, and obviously more concerning without Chris Middleton. So, heading back to Boston, I think Boston probably gets the win tonight. I think we probably see Milwaukee then bounce back in Game 6, and then we get a fantastic Game 7. Hopefully, fingers crossed, with Chris Middleton back in the lineup. But I have a hard time throwing my faith behind Milwaukee after what we saw for the final 12 minutes on Monday night.
All right, Pratt, no matter what happens here with Time Lord, the Celtics seem to be capable of taking care of business, like in the paint there with Horford at the forefront of that front line.
Yeah, I'm with both of these guys. At first glance, 5.5 points is a lot. But if the Celtics actually hit some shots and get off to a good start, they can cover the spread. Over the last 2 games, we've seen just how valuable Chris Middleton is to the Bucks, as Nick alluded to earlier. Giannis is going to get his, but Middleton has always been Milwaukee's closer, and they've really missed him in the last 2 games. They probably deserve to lose Game 3 after blowing a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, but barely held on. In Game 4, the wheels completely fell off the bus in the fourth again, and they got dominated in the clutch when it mattered. Boston crushed the Bucks in Game 2 after getting off to a hot start at home, winning by 23. They have the momentum entering this matchup, and there's a path where this ends up as another blowout.